Welcome to week one of Honors Physics Learning. This information is being rolled out on Wednesday, April 8th, and will be due by 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, April 14th. This week, you will be learning how to measure length, area, and volume of a particular room in your house, and you will be able to convert those measurements into a unique set of units. Um, your first learning activity will be watching this video, which can be accessed from this slide presentation in your Google Classroom if you're with Mr. Mel or Mr. Brooks. Mr. Duda will roll it out to you via his website. In this slide presentation, this icon is a link to this video. Each week, a video just like this will reside at this icon. You'll At the end of this, your success checklist, you should be able to list length, area, and volume measurements in both metric and English. You should be able to use metric prefixes to convert lengths, areas, and volumes, as well as convert between metric and English. Lastly, within Google Classroom, you'll be able to complete a week one practice Google form, as well as a room activity that you will submit to your teacher. By completing this, you will be able to express various room measurements in both a traditional and a unique set of units. Each week in this first slide, you'll always have some links to some resources that you'll need as we're trying to learn here virtually. To the far right for my class is a Google Meet icon that will take you to an area where I will host daily office hours from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is a link to your Google Mail. This is the Google Classroom and class code for my sections. And lastly, this is a link called Vocaroo, which is a sound recorder. Some assignments might require you to record your voice when you're going to do something. Okay. Most of this should be review. If you look at metric versus English, right? Length, area, and volume, meters, square meters, cubic meters, various ones in English. We've had some practice with this. You'll be doing it again here. In metric, we usually use the prefixes, right? These are all our large prefixes, things that are greater than one. We're familiar with kilo means 1,000, mega means 1,000,000. These are ones that you're pretty familiar with. Small prefixes tend to be a little bit more confusing just because we don't like numbers less than one. Centi and milli, right? A centimeter is 100th of a meter, milli is 1,000th of a meter, and so on. A lot of times when you create a conversion fraction to do your unit conversion, we like to flip the sentence. So if a micrometer is a millionth of a meter, therefore 1 million micrometers is equal to 1 meter. Students tend to latch on to this sentence a little bit easier than the first one. Right? So whenever we are doing a unit conversion, you always want to list what you're starting with. You want to leave room for you to get to your units that you want. Conversion fractions or factors are equivalencies. So if 12 inches equals 1 foot, something you know, that's a conversion fraction. You set them up in a way so that your units cancel. Double check that your factors are accurate. Do the math, right? Multiply across the numerators, divide across the denominators, and at the end, make sure your answer it does indeed make sense. This slide has some helpful conversions. You're at home, you can look these up as well. Here's how many centimeters are in an inch, kilometers in a mile, feet in a mile. And here are some different lengths as well as an area and a volume that I looked up with conversions into different units. I took my height in inches, converted into feet, centimeters, and meters. Also looked at the length of a football field, but at the end converted that into a unique set of units. So here in yellow, I was able to convert the length of the football field into Mr. Mel's, where Mr. Mel is something that is 5 feet 10 inches, right? 70 inches. If you laid if I laid myself down on the field, I would need almost 52 of myself to reach to the other side of the field. You're going to have to do this in your last activity. So just some practice here, see how to set this up, right? So here's kind of our conversion factor method, starting with 70 inches. If I wanted to convert that into feet, I need to put two things that I know. I know that 12 inches is equivalent to 1 foot. They are equal to each other. I set them up in such a way so that the inches cancel out, right? So when I do 70 divided by 12, right, I get my 5.83 feet. And so that's what I would be ending with. All right, that's how I get to 5.83 feet. Okay, easy enough. If I were to take the football field, right, which is something that most of us know, right? It's 100 yards. If I wanted to convert this into Mr. Mel's, right, I need to use some information, right? So some conversion fractions I know. I know that 1 yard is equivalent to 3 feet, right? If I just stopped here, if that's all I did, that's how I get to 300 feet. But I don't want feet, I want Mr. Mel's. That's what I want here at the end. I'll just call it Mel's. Okay, so I need another conversion fraction where I know how many feet is equal to a Mr. Mel. 5.83, technically repeating, is 1 Mr. Mel. So at this point, I've canceled out another set of units, right? The feet go away. All right, and if I did this math, 100 times 3 times 1, which is 300 divided by 5.83, that is how we get to our unique unit here, right? The football field is exactly 51.43 mils. Okay. Things you want to keep in mind if you're doing any area measurements, kind of hone in on this a little bit. For instance, if I take the area Spring Township, which is 18.49 square miles, I'm using the caret symbol here for square, you need to remember to perform the conversion fraction twice. For, in this case, if I'm changing it to square kilometers, this isn't enough, right? Because that doesn't fully cancel out. I need another mile and another 1.609 kilometers. That will lead to the units canceling out, right? Square miles, right, over square miles leaves kilometers squared left. And that's how we get to our final answer here of, I believe it was 47.87 square kilometers. Okay. We could even take an area and find square Mr. Mel's, right? We could do a volume and get to cubic Mr. Mel's as well. You are going to be doing this set of unique units in your activity here at the end. Okay. Jumping back, there's some hyperlinks here to Area Spring Township, Volume Superdome if you want to just search a little bit. And on this last slide in here is a YouTube video of students from Mr. Brooks's class a few years ago who did a very good job at explaining the use of a conversion fraction. All right. Good luck. As always, you need any help, feel free to email or come in during office hours.